Hello again, folks. A warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. I'm Xander, and we have John here to go through everything that's been happening at Celtic over the last week. That's the game last night against Sporting Lisbon, the game coming up against Newcastle, all your latest news, signings and rumours. We'll go through the lot, folks. But first I want to mention the competition for next season. It's a 30-player league. We've got 23 entries so far. We're looking for another 7 entries, and it's very simple. Correct score competition. Every week we'll ask you for your guess at the correct score. If you get it right, you get 3 points. Into the league table you go, and whoever's got the most points and at the top of the league at the end of the season wins the prize and becomes the champion also. So we're looking for another 7 names, folks, and it's to win a box full of various Celtic merchandise, Celtic flags, scarves, footballs, t-shirts, various different things in there. We'll go into it a wee bit more a wee bit later, closer to the competition starting, folks. But to enter, just put your name into the comments. Very simple. Your name or your username into the comments section with the name or the word, competition there, and that'll be you entered. And once we get the 7 names, that'll be us ready to go for the new season. So good luck, everybody, with that. And remember to hit that subscribe button as well, folks. That would be appreciated. Right. Hello, John. How are you?
I'm all right. Good game last night. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
It was a very decent performance, after the sort of sluggish games we had just before it. The 3 before it, 3 friendlies were, they weren't great, were they? But it's just, getting energy into the legs, exercise in these games. But I think last night's game, we're a wee bit closer to how the team's going to look at the start of the season.
I would imagine so, aye. Nygren, he's starting to look like a player, isn't he? Looks half decent so far, what I've seen. But he's got a lot of pace. I never realised there's so much pace, a lot of strength. I really like to look at him. But it's only a pre-season friendly. Nobody's getting excited yet until the season kicks off and we see what they're all about. But aye, so far so good with him.
Looks decent, didn't he? But we signed him as a right winger. But he was playing in the Arnie Engels role, wasn't he? Central midfield, right of midfield, John. So, maybe Brendan's got different plans for Nygren, John, but he was signed as a winger. We knew he could play anywhere across the front line, but he looks as though he can play in midfield as well, John.
He never looked out of place there, did he? I thought he looked really, really composed. He was good, he was fast, he was powerful.
Yeah.
He looks a half-decent player, Xander. I like the look of him, what I've seen so far, I mean. Yeah,
he does. He looks very good. A good signing there, I think, to be honest with you, John. And he sort of ran the show in midfield, didn't he? But we'll get into the game a wee bit later, John. First of all, I wanted to get into the latest gossip, or rumours, anything like that that's been happening at Celtic over the last 4 or 5 days. Obviously, Nicholas Kuhn, John, he's away now, isn't he? He's signed for Como. And we could obviously play Como in the Como Cup next week. So that would be interesting, wouldn't it, if we up against our former player, Nicholas Kuhn, John. But he's away. What do you think of that, buddy? What's your thoughts on Nicholas signing for Como?
Look, it's all about the money for Celtic, innit? Get the money in the pocket, or in the bank, if you like. That's a lot of money to fit in your pocket, Xander. 17 million, it's a lot of money.
Sure is, right in the bank account, John. And there is other players possibly on their way, John, as well. We'll touch on every one of them. We'll get a wee word or a wee thought what you think on these players coming in. But John, Nicholas, are you going to miss him? Do you think we've got the players there to fit right into his position? Will we sign another right winger, John? What's your thoughts, buddy?
Well, we're playing Nygren in the centre of the park. It's a strange one, isn't it? I really don't know. If he'll sign another right winger. It's quite possible. We've got James Forrest there, but he's not going to play 90 minutes every game, you know what I mean? So it's a strange one. I really don't know, Xander. I don't know if he's planning on putting Arnie back in the centre and putting Nygren on the right where he's comfortable, but judging by his performance last night against a very good team they had, Sporting Lisbon, Nygren looked man of the match to me. He was outstanding in there.
Yeah, very good, John. And he's settling in nicely, actually, isn't he? Sporting Lisbon, John, League and Cup champions, double champions. So there were definitely no mugs, You know, I know I think it was their first pre-season game, but you know, you could tell with the way they were passing that ball about that they were a very decent team. But Celtic were also passing the ball about very well, weren't they? Very decent team. It was good to see the players putting in that performance. That's what we've been looking for since the pre-season started. Moving on with the news, gossip and rumours, John, I think there's been various different links. Here we go again, more links than the butchers, but there's been various different links to players coming to Celtic. You know, Odds and Edward was one that was doing the rounds, wasn't it? Louis Barry was another one. Balak Wisher's still on the pipeline as well. John, all these different players linked to Celtic. But what did you think of the Edward one, John? I personally don't think it's going to happen, but it's not going away either, is it?
No, it's not going away. I've stated it on here before. I don't want him back at Celtic. That's my feelings on him. Don't want him back. The same with guys like Stuart Armstrong. I've heard him being linked as well. Don't want him anywhere near Celtic. You know my feelings on Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah,
especially after losing us that game at Hampden against England. But I don't want any they players back, Edward or Armstrong. Good player, Edward, though, isn't he? But I think Celtic should be looking at freshening things up front, Xander, rather than going backwards. You know what I mean? That's just my feelings on that.
Yeah, that's it, John. I don't think it's going to happen, as I said, anyway. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. You know, players, you know, signing for Celtic. You know, look at Kieran back at Celtic. You know, who would have thought that would have happened? Especially with the fee, you know, that, you know, we got for Kieran Tierney. We get him back on a free transfer. Absolute tremendous business there by Celtic. But no, you never know with Edward, John. You never know. Balak Wisha, as I say, still in the pipeline as well. Louis Barry, also rumours about Louis Barry, Aston Villa player coming to Celtic. But one that is just about over the line, John, maybe even by the time this goes out, you know, signed is Shin Yamada, the 25-year-old striker, John, coming from Japan. I've watched this boy's compilation video. I know you kind of go by compilation videos, but he looks fast, pacey, and he looks quite strong as well. Obviously, he knows where the net is, scoring 20-odd goals last season, John. But I like to look at this boy, Shin Yamada, John, and this one is just about over the line.
Aye, Bill. Let's hope we get that one over the line, because I like the look of him. Like he says, you kind of go by compilation clips. I never do, but the guy that's banging in goals there, he's got to be half decent. He'll do as a turn in Scotland, no problem at all. Made in Japan. Everything made in Japan is top quality, apart from Kwon.
Yeah, well, we're going to get on to Kwon later, actually. But no, John, he looks like a really decent striker or centre forward, if you like. 1.5 million is all we would be paying for this lad, John. I think the scouts are still doing the homework in Japan, John, because, you know, the left back we signed from Japan looks decent when he came on yesterday against Sporting Lisbon. And Yamada also looks like a decent player, John, going by the compilation video. I think 1.5 million is an absolute bargain if we get this one over the line.
I think so. You know you're getting players from Japan. They're going to be half decent. They're playing at a good level, by the way. The Japanese league is a very tough league. I've said it before. I rate the Japanese league higher than the Scottish league, Xander, all day. I just think that it's crammed with top quality players, and I think most players you get from Japan, they're going to be quality. So, like I say, it's made in Japan, top quality. But there you go. We'll wait and see. I think Celtic will get this one over the line anyway, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Replacement for Kyogo, perhaps?
Possibly, John. What I liked about him was his strength. He looked a lot stronger than Kyogo. It looked as though he was pretty physical up there, you know, determination, a lot of determination, you know, try to win the ball back, or etc. John, I just thought he looked like a very, very decent striker. So I think if we get this one over the line, that'd be a great bit of business by Celtic, John. And as you said, yeah, possibly the replacement for Kyogo, John, who just signed for Birmingham for £10 million, John. Kyogo, 31, nearly 32. That's quite a high fee for somebody at that age, £10 million.
They must have had their eye on him for a while. I mean, they've obviously been aware of his performances at Celtic.
Yeah.
and in Japan. I know he never had much of a success in France, but Birmingham must have had their eye on Kyogo for a while, so they know what they're doing there. They're getting a half-decent player, but I just think at the end of his Celtic career, he couldn't hit a barn door, could he?
No, he looked a wee bit off form, didn't he? And I think his form for Rennes proved that to be the case, John. He's couldn't hit a barn door at Rennes either, could he? He tried to get into that Japanese side, that never worked for him either, John. But it's a new lease of life for him going to Birmingham, £10 million. So good luck to wee Kyogo down there anyway, John. Because he is still a half decent striker, isn't he? But as I say, John, if we get your man over the line, your £1.5 million man over the line, John, I think that would be absolutely tremendous. And I think that could happen today, actually, John. I think that's going to be over the line today. With any luck, hopefully, John. What about the left back, John, or left sided centre back in Amura, John? He looks decent as well.
That's the first I've seen him. The game last night. I've not seen any other friendlies apart from last night. But he looks half decent, doesn't he? He looks quite powerful. He's no scared of a challenge. He flies into everything. Quite pacey as well. I like his red boots.
Yeah, I like him, John. I like him. I think every time I saw him in these pre-season friendlies, and I know you can't take anything by friendly games. We know that. We understand that, folks. But for what I've saw, he looks like a very good left back, John. He's got that height, as you say. He's got the pace. He's physical. He can find the pass, John. These long diagonal passes look good as well. And he can also play at left centre back as well, John. So it gives the manager options, I suppose.
Aye, it does. I mean, we needed another another left back after Greg left. So I think he'll be half decent in there. But there's still talk of Schlupp coming back to Celtic. I don't think that will happen now. I can't see that happening now. But he does. He looks half decent. Is he a replacement for Greg Taylor? I don't think so, but no yet anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early days, isn't it? I mean, we don't know. But he looks half decent, didn't he? He looks half decent. But Kieran Tierney, obviously, he's going to be hard to push out the team unless he gets injured. Fingers crossed he never gets injured. Because it's good to see him back, actually.
Yes, yeah. Things are looking okay just now, especially after the Sporting Lisbon game. That was a performance and a half. It really was, albeit a friendly. It was still a decent performance. Okay, moving on. Adam Ida looks as though he's picked up a wee groin injuries, John. I think he came off at half time against Sporting Lisbon with a wee groin injury. He did look a wee bit sluggish on the park, didn't he? So maybe this injury has been niggling away at him, John.
Maybe he missed that sitter from 2 yards out. That's unforgivable, that, isn't it? No, I'm only kidding. It's only a friendly, I know. But what a ball into the box from Kieran Tierney. That was right onto his, I was going to say right onto his toe, but it kind of came off his shin. Adam Ida, didn't it? That was quite poor.
Yeah, it was a dreadful finish, John. That's albeit it's a friendly. You still want that ball nestling in the back of the net. That's why we're there. We're there to play the game, to try and win the game. And Big Adam obviously needs a wee bit more game time, but this groin injury is going to maybe hamper him a wee bit, John, maybe hold him back a week or two. Hopefully it's not anything serious, John. He's okay for the game against Newcastle, but John, for what I'm hearing, it's that's why he was taken off and he could be out for a game or two, John. So we'll just need to wait and see.
I will keep an eye on and see what happens. And if this new boy signs, we might even get a look at him for the game against Newcastle, if he's signed by then.
Yeah, if he's signed, John, as I'm hearing, it's very close. And it might even, as I say, by the time this podcast goes out, it might have already signed, John. So we'll wait and see. Exciting times ahead, it really is. The latest on Big Vickers, he's back in training, John. Big Cameron Carter-Vickers is back in training. You might even see him against Newcastle, we don't know, but he's back in training, which is good news. And obviously Alistair Johnston was rested because he played for the Canadian national team, John.
Right, I never knew he was playing for Canada. I had a feeling that's what was happening when He wasn't in the starting lineup last night, but it'd be good to see Alistair back. I thought Anthony Ralston did okay last night, by the way.
Brilliant. He does that sometimes, Tony, doesn't he? He puts in these outstanding performances, and then sometimes he'll have a sort of a poorer game. But he is an absolute rock, Anthony Ralston. He's a brilliant player for Celtic. Yeah, he done well against Sporting Lisbon. I think he'll be on against Newcastle as well, to be honest with you, John. I think he'll be starting against Newcastle on Saturday as well. Just one more wee bit before we go into the two games, John, the Sporting game and the Newcastle game. Palmer, Kwon, and potentially Yang, John. I think Brendan's looking to shift all three of these players, Palmer and Kwon especially, John, and Yang potentially. Norwich sniffing about him potentially, John. Yang, we both said we wanted him to stay, didn't we? But, it looks as though Yang could be on his way out, potentially. Maybe just a rumour, John, gossip, etc. But maybe even on loan at Norwich, who knows? But Yang, Kwon and Palmer, John, what do you think?
Norwich, the club that sold his Adam Ida for £9 million.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give them any play. I mean, they wasted Celtic's time with that, didn't they? Wanting every penny out of Celtic for that. The price was quoted as being, I can't remember what it was, 6 million or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they're holding out and holding Celtic to ransom because the Celtic fans wanted the player. Eventually they get £9 million off of Celtic. So I hope no Celtic player ever goes to Norwich for that. You know what I mean? I'll never forget them holding Celtic to ransom for that.
Yeah, well, that's true. They did have us hanging on a wee bit, didn't they? And eventually got it over the line. But, John, that Norwich link is just a rumour. That may not be the case, but that is one of the teams that are sniffing about Yang. What do you think, John? Do you still want him to stay? Do you want him to go? Are you not too fussed? What's your thoughts, buddy?
I like Yang. I think he's a half-decent young player. I just think another loan would do him a world of good. I think maybe going to a Scottish clubs, it's just maybe a club in England or something like that would do him good. Come back to Celtic, maybe a more Celtic ready player, if you like. He's still a wee bit raw, isn't he? Still trying to show off his skills too much and stuff. I think he needs to cut that out of his game, be more direct. I think he's a exceptional young talent. I just think he needs a bit more time at Celtic.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens, John, with Yang. I just hope he stays, to be honest, because we're pretty short in the wide areas, left wing, right wing. I think we're quite short. We've got Jamesy Forrest just now, but anything could happen to him. He's been like over the last couple of years with injuries. We've got Daizen Maeda. We have Yang, and we have the Australian lad, Tilio, John, as well. In fact, let's get into the Sporting Lisbon game. Let's get into it right now, John. And we'll start with Tilio, who played yesterday, John. He looked okay, Tilio, didn't he? He looked quite crisp and sharp, quite direct as well, pacey, good balls into the box. He looked okay, Tilio.
He messed up a 2-on-2 situation with his pass, but other than that, I thought he looked good. And I did say I think it's a player Brendan would like to look at again.
Yeah, he did.
And he's having another look at him again, which is good because he's a highly rated player. And we want to see what all the fuss is about. So, maybe give him another couple of games before deciding on what to do with Tilio, because I like him. I just think he's, he's just not had the time on the park. But he does come highly rated, so I'd like to see what the fuss is about with him.
Yeah, I'd like to see him getting it because, as you say, we signed him for a reason, John. We paid that money for him for a reason, John. He is a decent player. He's just not really had the chance, and hopefully he gets the chance this season, John. Hopefully he gets a chance. Brendan gets a right good look at him, give him more game time, and we can see what he can do. Because it's a player we don't need to sign. He's already our player, so that's a bonus in itself, isn't it? Okay, what else? We'll go through some of the players in a couple of minutes, John, but this game is tagged as a friendly, but it was far from a friendly, wasn't it? Some of the tackles that were going in, late tackles, flying tackles. the big guy at the back, John, that caused the penalty for Celtic, you know, he was flying in with some tackles as well. Can't remember the boy's name. Sorry for the unprofessionalism, but the big Sporting Lisbon centre half, John, the guy with the dreadlocks, he was putting himself about a wee bit last night.
Aye, they're on their own patch. They don't want to get beat. I mean, they're going to put in tackles and stuff, but some of the Celtic players were putting some tackles in as well, especially Anthony Ralston. Big no nonsense, big Tony. But aye, they were throwing their weight about a wee bit. Sporting Lisbon. It was a tasty game, wasn't it?
Yeah, enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. A good crowd as well, actually, for a friendly. Just beautiful sunshine night as well, wasn't it? Stadium was it was no totally full, but you know, a couple of stands were full and a couple were empty. But it's a good turnout for a friendly. As you say, Sporting Lisbon don't want to lose in their own patch, John, their own home soil, John. And but they did, John. They got beat 2-0. Decent, you know, 2-0 result there, John. A penalty, sort of a scuffled under the goalkeeper, wasn't it? From Rio Hatate and Luke McCowan with a very decent finish from Rio. Good build up as well in that goal, John. The Luke McCowan goal, John. Good build up play, fast, crisp passing, and then a very decent finish round the goalkeeper, John, to the goalkeeper's right hand side. Good goal that, John, and a comfortable enough 2-0 win for Celtic last night.
Aye, it was a lovely goal. I just wonder when the penalty was hit, I couldn't really see it. So was it the sun? It was too bright or something like that. But
yeah,
it just kind of scrummed under the keeper. It was a strange one. I thought the keeper had said he did get a touch to it, but I thought he'd actually caught it. I don't know. Just the picture was too bright or something like that. I couldn't make it out exactly what was happening. But Luke McCowan, what a finish that was. Great build-up play and total composure from Luke McCowan. Look, we know Luke McCowan's a good player. Yes, he's another one that could potentially replace Arne Engels in the centre of the park this season, Sander, because I've said it all along. I prefer Luke McCowan. I do prefer Luke McCowan to Arne Engels. I've said it before on here, and I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah, this is a big season for Arne Engels, isn't it? You know, last season, you've got to remember he's a League Cup double winner, John. We all understand that, but a lot of Celtic supporters are not happy with the performances from Arne Engels. I think the price tag is the big one here, isn't it? The big price tag. So it's a big season for Arne Engels. And look at yesterday against Sporting Lisbon. He was dropped, wasn't he? And Nygren was put in his place, and he totally shone. Nygren really did shine in place of Arne Engels. So it's a big season for Arne. You know, he might have to fight to get back into the Celtic first team, John.
There's good players in there to keep him out of the team. A player's good enough to keep him out of the team, should I say. Luke McCowan and Nygren. Nygren was outstanding. I mean, if he's going to be playing like that the whole season, it's going to be very hard for Engels to get back in the team. Should Brendan decide to play Nygren in the centre of the park? Because what I've seen in Nygren already, he's a better player than Engels.
Yeah, I think we're lucky to get Nygren for that price, John. I know he was on the last 6 months of his contract, and that's why we got him so cheap, the Swedish winger, John. But he's certainly a very, very decent player, especially at that price. What was it, 1.5 million, something like that we paid for Nygren. 2 million, some people are saying. We had an argument last week about somebody saying we got the price wrong, but it was between 1.5 and 2 million anyway, wasn't it? An absolute bargain if he's going to be putting in performances like that, John.
Aye, it's a bargain. It is. He looks like a quality. You can tell a quality player right away, can't you? You just know when somebody's quality with their composure and their passing and their vision and all that. He's got the lot there. He had that last night anyway. He just looks like a player that's played for Celtic for 5-6 years.
Yeah. The more performances like that, the better. For the league season starting very soon, John, against St Mirren. Flag Day very soon, folks. Can't wait. Start of August. So let's go through a few more then, John. Casper, was good to see him back, wasn't it? The big man in goals. Casper Schmeichel. He's very confident goalkeeper, and his passing's quite good as well. He fills the goal. gives that defence confidence, doesn't it? Obviously, we changed it at half time and Sinisalo got a run out as well. But it's just good to see Casper back in between the sticks, John.
Aye, it's always good to have a world-class keeper. Casper is a world-class keeper. I know he's 40 years old or whatever he is, but aye, still pulled off a couple of decent saves last night again. Aye, good to see him back.
Yeah. And Dane Murray, John, big solid defender. He played well also, didn't he? And besides Scalesy, I think he done no put a foot wrong. Didn't put a foot wrong. Dane Murray. I think Brendan likes the look of Dane, didn't he? He likes the look of Dane Murray, John. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be ahead of, big Cameron Carter-Vickers at any time soon, John. But you never know. He likes the look of Dane Murray. There it was last night, and besides Scales, John, a clean sheet against the Portuguese champions. He's certainly not done himself any harm.
No, I thought he played well last night as well. I thought he was outstanding last night, Dane Murray. Really enjoyed his performance. Beside big Liam Scales. But I still ask the question, what is Brendan's preferred centre-half partnership? Do you think it's Vickers and Trusty, or do you think it's Vickers and Scales? And big Dane Murray's stepped up to the mark with some good performances that I was hoping to see in the Rocky State at Celtic. Of course, that's not happened. But, aye. It's a confusing one, isn't it? Who's going to be the main partnership there?
Yeah, what I've noticed about Big Cameron is he's a bit injury prone the last couple of years, and he's been out a few times with sort of mid to long term injuries, John. 3 to 4, maybe 4 to 6 weeks injuries, John. So that's a few times he's been out with these injuries. So hopefully he's over the worst of it. So maybe Brendan's thinking, replacements for Cameron because of these injury concerns that he has. But hopefully that's him. He's had his surgery, he's back in training. It'll be good to go for the new season, John. But I think he likes the look of Big Dane Murray, but I think it's going to be, to answer your original question, Big Cameron and Scalesy, John. I think that's his main two.
Out of the defenders that's left, I think that's going to be, for me, that's the best pairing there is Vickers and Liam Scales. Dane Murray, no seen enough of him to say if he's ready to step up to the mark. Still a young boy, isn't he? So we'll wait and see there. Dane Murray, of course, plays right centre half. How good would he be at the left centre half beside Cameron Carter-Vickers? That's the question, isn't it? But I think you're right. I think it's, for me, the top pairing there is definitely Vickers and Scales. I know a lot of people don't like Liam Scales, by the way, and I still don't understand why. Just, the guy's a colossus. He's some player, Liam Scales. I just don't get why there's still a few Celtic fans who are no sold on him.
Yeah, it's definitely split, isn't it? 50% absolutely adore Liam Scales. Us two have been part of that 50%, John. And 50%, for some reason, I don't know why, but they don't rate him. So, John, I don't understand it. He's won championships, he's won cups, he's done brilliant in the Champions League. He's, as you say, he's a brilliant defender, John. So everybody's entitled to their own opinion, I suppose. But we're in that sort of camp, John, where we absolutely love Liam Scales. I
love Liam Scales. I'd love to see him be a starter at Celtic again. I think he's amazing in there. Like he says, every Celtic fan has got opinions, and we're no different. There'll be a few Celtic fans out there don't like Liam Scales. We love him. A lot of Celtic fans love him. There'll be Celtic fans out there that love Arnie Engels. I'm not a fan of Arnie Engels. I've said it for the past 6 months. I'm not a fan of Arnie Engels. But this could be season to shine. You know what I mean? I'm not dismissing the boy. It was his first season. Let's see if he can step up to the mark in his second season. Is he going to be the main guy in beside Callum McGregor? Well, we'll wait and see what happens.
It'd also be interesting to see Arnie Engels and Nygren together, John. There is options there, isn't there? Rio Hattati's obviously, the main man in there. He's an outstanding midfielder, Rio. He really is. Even yesterday against Sporting Lisbon, I thought he was brilliant. Another great performance from Rio. He scores the penalty also, John. So he's the main man in there, and beside either Nygren or Annie Engels. But I think it'd be interesting to see Engels and Nygren in there in the same team. It will happen, John. It will happen this season. Sometimes, the occasional game you'll see the two in there together. And then you've got like McCowan as well to throw into the mix. And Bernardo also, John, who, by the way, we've not seen. I know he was in training. He was training, but, he didn't get a run out against Sporting Lisbon, did he? No, that I saw anyway.
No. Engels, I think he did have a wee spell on the park.
Yeah, he did play, John. I'm talking about Bernardo, didn't he?
Bernardo never started. Bernardo never had a sniff in the game.
No.
I don't know what Paulo Bernardo's is a bit of an enigma, I think. Paulo Bernardo. I can't see him lasting beyond this season at Celtic, Sander. I can't see it.
Yeah, that's as you say. And some games he's brilliant, and some games he gets took off at half time, didn't he? So yeah, is it an enigma as you say, John? But he's got this season anyway, John. Hopefully he can get into that team because I do like him. I do like Bernardo, John. Also like Engels as well, John. I think he's a very, very decent top quality midfielder. It's a big season, as you say, for Arne Engels, John. He's not that he has to prove himself. He's already a league and cup double winner, John, but a lot of the Celtic fans just want to see his performances up a couple of gears.
Aye, well, he needs to raise his game, Arne Engels. I still fail to see what it is that he actually does in the centre of the park. I've never watched a game with Arne Engels and thought, what an outstanding performance. Honestly, I've never seen it. I don't remember thinking that was a great game Arne had there. That's why he's got to step up this season. Paulo Bernardo, on the other hand, I just don't think Paulo gets enough game time at Celtic. That's his problem. We know he's a quality player, but he just doesn't get enough game time to show what he can do, I think, with Paulo. But Arne, he's got to step up to the mark.
Yeah, well, I know I have to keep saying this, John. It was just a friendly, right? But you look at the performance Nygren put in, or Nygren, some people call him Nygren, whatever. You look at the performance you put in against Sporting Lisbon. Right away, you saw him, John. You saw what he did in the game. Flying tackles, great passes, shots and goal, John. He's very direct. We didn't really see that for Arne Engels last season. We've seen it in fleeting times, John, in games. Sometimes you'd see it. Sometimes you'd see him driving at defenders, John, but not very often. But Nygren, on the other hand, in a friendly, you've got to remember, John. But we can only comment on the game we've just watched. Very direct, John, and you saw a high-level performance by Nygren against Sporting Lisbon.
Aye, but it was only a friendly, but it was quality opposition, and he destroyed them. And I've never seen Arne Engels destroy anybody, be it in a League Cup game against a lower league team or whatever. I've never seen Arne Engels having a quality performance and thought what a performance that was. Maybe like he's got fleeting, like he says, wee glimpses of things that you think that was good, and then he fades away again. You don't see him. He's invisible in games. That's what I'm trying to say. When you watch Arne Engels, it's never outstanding. You're thinking, give the ball to Arne, he's going to do something. He's invisible. He's hiding in games. That's the way I see it. But you look at Nygren, he was wanting the ball. He was doing everything he could to help the team. The work rate was phenomenal. And I've never seen that for Arne Engels, ever. I'm not trying to put the boy down and all that stuff. I want him to shine at Celtic. But what I've seen from Nygren last night, he's another level.
Yeah, the starting lineup against Newcastle will be interesting as regards to, Arne Engels, what Brendan's thoughts for this season is for Arne Engels. But as you say, Nygren could be put back on the right wing, John, and Arne Engels starting the game. So there is options there for the manager. And the only other one I wanted to have a wee quick word on was Dyson. Another great performance by Dyson. That energy he's got, is especially in that heat, John, that heat in Lisbon. Up and down that line, he just never stops, does he? It's just good to see Dyson getting close to his usual self, John. I'm not saying he's quite there yet, but he was quite close last night against Sporting Lisbon.
He wasn't one of the better players on the park, I don't think, but he had a half-decent game, Dyson, the usual, lots of energy and all that stuff. I thought Dyson was okay.
Yeah, we shot a volley, went at volley right at the goalkeeper last season. Dyson would have buried that, but he just needs games, John, because he's no played much of these pre-season games, so I think Dyson will be absolutely fine. But I thought he was okay, like you say. I thought he was okay. And by the way, how bad is Celtic TV, John?
It's pretty bad,
Okay. Right, okay. We'll move on, John. Let's do this preview of the Newcastle game then. Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Nice sunny, hopefully. Celtic Park, hopefully it'll be nice and sunny. Players back at Paradise, fans back at Paradise, John, after the close season. It'll just be good to be back home, won't it, to see the team back at Celtic Park. This one's also on Celtic TV, John, but this is another level again. Obviously, Newcastle United coming to Celtic Park, John. The last game out, John, they played Carlisle, beating Carlisle 4-0 at home. That was just last week, actually, in a friendly. So, they know where the net is, they know where the goals are. We know they're a decent team. We know they're a multi-million pound team, John, but this is just another level, another slight step up, possibly. Newcastle coming to Paradise.
I've not watched Newcastle for years. I don't know anything about them. I know they're very rich. I know that much. But in regards to watching Newcastle, I have not watched Newcastle for years. I've not watched the Premiership for years. I've got no interest in it. I don't live there. I don't support any of the teams. Why would I need to watch it unless, a Celtic player was linked with a player from that team? But other than that, I've no interest in watching the English Premiership. But Newcastle, I know they're a very rich team. I know that much, but I don't know anything else about them.
Yeah, just, riddled with top talent, John. Alexander Isak, he's there's rumours of him leaving Newcastle, actually, isn't there? So, but Isak, John Tonali, Joe Eelton, Osula, Harvey Barnes, Kieran Trippier, Longstaff, Nick Pope, Willock. The list goes on and on and on, didn't it, John? Just a team full of top quality players. And obviously Eddie Howe, John, being the manager of Newcastle, he's the man that knocked back Celtic a few years ago to join Newcastle, funnily enough. So he is he's coming to Celtic Park, John, where he could have been the Celtic manager in that dugout for every game. This is his first time in Celtic Park. And to Eddie Howe, John, knocking back Celtic, coming to Paradise, what do you think of that?
Well, I'm glad he knocked it back because we got Big Ange. Big Ange delivered some great players to Celtic, didn't he? Kyogo, Hatate, Dyson. What's his name? O'Reilly.
Yeah.
A lot of good players that Ange brought to Celtic.
Kyogo,
aye. So let's just show Eddie Howe why he made the wrong decision, knocking back Celtic. Oh, look, it's all about money down England, isn't it? He's going to be on astronomical wages down there. But that's why I don't like the English game anymore. It's all about money. They're all billionaire clubs. No interest in Xander. You're talking about all these Newcastle players, mentioning all their names. No idea who any of them are. If he says to me Shankland and all that stuff, I would know them, but he mentioned anybody in the English Premiership, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, John. But that's who it is. That's who's coming to Paradise. It'll be a full house, hopefully. Not quite the 60,000, but there'll be a good turnout there, John. I'm not too sure what the sales are yet for this game. I don't know if it's been sold out. I don't know if there's still tickets available. I've not even checked, to be honest with you. But it'll be a good turnout anyway. I'm looking forward to it. But John, what we want out of this game is just for Celtic to continue their good form, John, to get these players ready for the start of the league season against St Mirren at Celtic Park. Flag Day, we just want the players ready for that, because that's the most important thing, John, is our domestic season. These friendlies, okay, it's good to see these teams come to Celtic Park, teams like Newcastle, but we just want to see a good performance. A win would be nice, but not important, and just to get the players ready for the season starting.
Well, that's what friendlies are all about, isn't it? It's about preparing the players get them ready, because their first game of the season is against St Mirren, who are party poopers, if you like, aren't they? They're there to spoil a party. So we need to be prepared for that. St Mirren will be well up for it. Good team, St Mirren. So we need to be prepared. That's what the pre-season friendlies are all about. But I am looking forward to that. Glasgow, the away end will be full of lovely Geordie folks. Do you like Geordie accent, Sandy? You any good at
that? Just the same as everybody else knows, isn't it? Why, aye, man.
Yeah. I was down there a lot in North East England. Lovely people down there, the Geordies. Really nice people, I know a lot of them. I was trying to think of something to say for their accent. A pint, a couple of pints.
No bad. No, I've been to Newcastle myself a few times. There are really nice people down in Newcastle, aren't they? So, very welcome to come up to Glasgow. We're looking forward to having you at Celtic Park. And it'll be a good atmosphere, as you say, John. I think it'll be a very decent atmosphere. But at the end of the day, John, doesn't matter about the result or anything like that. It'll be one of the, two teams again, one team in the first half, another team in the second half. That's what it's going to be. I think it sort of ruins it a wee bit. I don't think there's any need to do that, but it's all about getting players fit into it, and it's just about getting these guys ready for, as you say, St Mirren on the 3rd of August.
Aye, apologies if any Newcastle fans heard my accent, by the way. But there you go. That's what I think. That's what I think it sounds like.
Nah, I'm sure they've done Scottish accents. That's not a problem, John. No. But no, John, St Mirren on the 3rd of August. That's what we're aiming for here.
This is it. This is what it's all about. It's getting the players ready for that game. I've got it's a hard start to the season. I don't know who makes these fixtures up. Apparently, it's a computer. I still think there's a wee bit of skullduggery going on there with the fixtures, Xander. St Mirren, very tough game. Ruby's the last game of the season. Almost party poopers, almost beat us. And then Aberdeen, who beat us in the Scottish Cup winners, Aberdeen, who beat us who beat us in the Scottish Cup finally.
Scottish Cup winners, Aberdeen away, John, away from home. That's the second game. Then the third game, Livingston, which should be okay, and then Rangers at Ibrox, John. It is a very difficult start. So, that's why teams like Newcastle coming to Celtic Park is actually quite important for us. Because you're up against top quality opposition.
Aye, it is important. Of course it is. Like you said earlier, you're raising the bar the more you get into these friendlies, because we've got Newcastle, we had Sporting Lisbon, very, very good team. Newcastle, probably a better team. I don't know, because I don't know anything about them. I'm just going by the money that they've got down there. And then you've got Ajax up next as well, so the teams are just getting better and better. I'm not saying Ajax are better than Newcastle, by the way. I don't know anything about Ajax either. The players that they've got, but I know they've got a fantastic youth system there. And they breed these fantastic young players, didn't they? Ajax, always been a cracking team. I like them.
Yeah, brilliant team, Ajax. They're just world famous, aren't they? Ajax. Everybody knows about Ajax, and as you say, their youth development plan, John, absolutely outstanding. But okay, that's it for Newcastle. Then there's not really much more we can talk about unless you want to give us a wee score prediction.
Oh, I don't know anything about Newcastle, so just going by the money that they've got and all that, they're going to be a good team. We know that. It's funny because I used to like Newcastle when I used to watch the Premiership, but I've not watched that for years. I'm talking 10, 15 years, and I've not watched the Premiership.
Yeah.
But I'll go for a Desmond, a 2-2.
They've got goals in them, haven't they, Newcastle? They just, as I said earlier, they just beat Carlisle 4-0, didn't they? So, there's going to be goals. I'm going to say 3-2 to Celtic, John. I'll go for the 1-3-2.
All right.
Who knows? Who cares, really? But it's just good to see the hoops back in action. It really is. These friendlies, a lot of people don't like them, John. I do like them. I do like these friendlies. It gives us a wee idea where the team is at before the serious stuff starts. So I do like them. So 2-2 for you, John. Excuse me, and 3-2 to the champions for me. Right, John. That just about wraps it up, John. Ajax, as you say, John, on the 24th. That's our next game after Saturday. That's 24th. What's that, John? Which is that next Thursday? Is it Thursday? I think it's a kick-off next Thursday. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's next Thursday, John. I think that's a wee marker, John, for the European ties that we've got coming up. This qualifier in the Champions League gives us a wee marker, you know where we are for these qualifiers in the Champions League. We don't know who it is yet, obviously. We don't know. Just check there, John. It is Thursday, by the way. Thursday at 7:30. That's the kick-off time against Ajax. But I guess gives us a wee idea where we are for these Champions League qualifiers.
That's what it's all about. Getting us ready for the season, the big games coming up, St Mirren, Champions League qualifiers, Aberdeen, all that stuff. That's basically what friendlies are all about. It's just getting the energy in the legs. I mean, of course, it takes quite a few games to get up to speed. Even when the season started, you're talking maybe 6-7 games before the legs are fully up to speed. So, as many friendlies as possible. I think that's a good thing for the players.
Yeah, that's it, John. And obviously, folks, our competition between ourselves, John and myself, will start when the league starts. We're not going to do it for friendly games. And the main competition for the listeners and the viewers, that also starts when the league starts. The first game being St Mirren. We'll get the competition up and running for that. We'll go into a wee bit more detail about the competition also near the time, folks. But it is a 30-player league. We're looking for another 7, so get your name into the comments just to get those 30 names locked and loaded and ready for the new season. And then we can let the fun begin. But we're still looking for another 7, folks. As I say, John and I's competition, we do a predictor, don't we, John? It's between us. We give a prediction for not just Celtic games, but other games in the SPL as well, and other vital games that are more or less in Scotland. We do that, and obviously the League Cup started as well, John, didn't it? The League Cup started. Was it last week, John? The League Cup started.
The weekend there, aye. Just at the weekend there, aye. Saturday.
Was it Saturday? Let's have a wee look at some of the results from the League Cup on Saturday. We had just ones that stick out. I'm just looking. Brecon, Falkirk. Falkirk beat Brecon 7-0, John, in the League Cup. That's some result. And then we've got Scott Brown and Neil Lennon in the League Cup as well, don't we, John? So Dundee got beat 1-0 off Airdrie. Just ones that stick out. Arbroath 0, St Mirren 0. Hearts 4, Dunfermline 1. That was a bit of a thumping for Lenny there, John. 4-1 to Hearts.
I never seen that, but aye, that is a thumping in it. I was just thinking back to friendlies there, by the way. Who was it that thumped us 6-1? Was it Leicester City or something a few years ago at Celtic Park?
I can't tell you, John. If it did, I probably would have wanted that out of my mind as fast as possible. But yeah, I do sort of remember Leicester beating us in a friendly, but I don't know if it was 6-1, John. Clyde 2, Motherwell 2, so not a great result for Motherwell either. You've got to remember these teams are just, this is the pre-season, isn't it, really? Let's see if there's any more that stood out. No, I think that's it, John. I think that was all the ones that stood out. Just seeing if there's any more. Not so your sort of Swedish games and stuff like that, and your under 21 Euros, ladies Euros, all that kind of stuff. Champions League qualifiers also started during the week. Let's have a wee look, John, see if there's any more. No, that's about it. We're up to speed, John. We're up to date with all your League Cup action as well. Right, John, that wraps it up. We'll be back for the preview of the Ajax game. We'll have a wee word on the Newcastle game as well. We'll have a wee post-match on the Newcastle game, John. So I've nothing else to add. If you have any more to add, John?
No, nothing. I was just thinking, what do you think of the new Celtics top last night, and why were Sporting Lisbon nowhere in their hoops, which I found quite odd at their home ground?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the tops, John, because I think that all three tops look really nice. The away top looks nice. The third kit looks nice, and obviously the hoops always looks nice. But I don't understand why Sporting Lisbon were not wearing their hooped jerseys and Celtic wearing the away jersey. It must have been a toss of a coin, John. That's the only thing I can think of.
King of the hoops, Glasgow Celtic.
Yeah, there's only
That's
one.
it.
There's only one team that suits it, John, isn't there?
That's it. But don't get me wrong, I like the Sporting Lisbon strip. It's a nice strip, and it's green and white hoops. It's nice and bright and fresh looking like Celtic strip. But there's no better green and white hoops than the Glasgow Celtic.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. By the way, there was one other game in the League Cup I forgot to mention. Kilmarnock won, Livingston no. All right, John. That wraps it up. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Remember, hit that subscribe button, folks. That would be appreciated. Get your names in for the competition as well. Just your name, your username, and competition entry into the comments section. That would be appreciated, and we'll catch you and everybody else on the preview of the Ajax game on Thursday. So thanks for coming on, John. We'll catch you later, buddy.
Speak to you later, Xander. Hail, mate.
Right, John. Hail, and I'll catch you all later.
Celtic